Special events planner David Monn is well known for his exquisitely detailed and elaborately designed parties. We recently went behind the scenes as David planned a uniquely beautiful event for the Guggenheim Museum. Now, David was also the mastermind behind that wonderful 100th anniversary of the Plaza Hotel. We just showed you the picture of that I took. Did you like the picture? David's sitting right there. But we'll talk to him after we show you this amazing, amazing tape. Take a look. David Monn has been the mastermind behind some of the most spectacular events in New York City and around the world.
I think the most gratifying thing for me in event planning is that I can actually take a fantasy, bring it to reality, and leave somebody with something that I hope they carry out with them.
One event he always looks forward to is planning the annual Guggenheim International Gala.
One of its challenges is that it's not held in the museum because of their space constraints. So we are always looking for a space where we can hold 500 people. And this year we are doing it in a parking garage.
A former shipping pier, Hudson River Park's Pier 40, sits on the edge of the water. But you would never know it from the inside because garage doors block the view. David's idea is to create a gorgeous, eco-friendly space for the gala.
The Guggenheim International Gala is the annual auction where they raise their major funds for the year. And my challenge is to make the evening about art, make the experience about art, and make it also about the Guggenheim.
In 1930, Solomon R. Guggenheim began collecting modern paintings. A permanent building for his collection was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, and it opened in New York City in 1959. Today, there are Guggenheim museums around the world, including the Guggenheim Bilbao in Spain, designed by the legendary architect Frank Gehry.
This year, Frank Gehry is one of the honorees. Frank Gehry in the 70s turned cardboard into furniture. What I've done is I've used that as my inspiration. So we've used cardboard. This is a product, it's actually called liquid cardboard. And it is so exciting. This is the inner guts of thick cardboard. And they're fluid, they're just incredible. And this particular shape will be turning into our centerpiece, and it is inspired by the actual outer shape of the Frank Lloyd Wright building.
David showed us the space as his team was in the middle of transforming it.
This is where cocktails are being held. I've chosen black for the main purpose that this is where the exhibition of the art is going to be. I want the art to stand and pop off.
To reveal an incredible view of the Hudson, David opened the garage doors.
What we've simply done, built plexiglass frames on 2x6s, and this incredible view is why we really chose this venue.
In addition, David had to cover this industrial ceiling.
We took cardboard and, using Frank Gehry's inspiration, molded them into these really beautiful fluid shapes to fill the ceiling. All the cardboard is made from recycled material, and it's actually going to be recycled again. The carpet is being given to a Housing Works project. All the draperies in here are draperies that are actually something that we reuse on an ongoing basis. So, in essence, everything, including the tables. For me, this is the coolest part of the entire project. This is the inner portion of the honeycomb of the cardboard, which you normally would never see. And we've actually taken it, done it in roll form. So this is now a really pretty spectacular table. 7 p.m. Wednesday night. 24 hours until cocktails. As you can see, there's a lot of work yet to happen, but we've made amazing progress. The structure is in place, and now starts the fine-tuning, and we start moving in all the elements.
This means crews worked all night. The ceiling was finished, lighting crews placed their last fixtures, and chairs were brought in. Topiaries and huge mirror frames were made with Bartlett pear tree leaves. And in the cocktail area, artwork was unpacked and readied for display. By midday Thursday, the day of the event, the final elements were coming together. David oversaw everything. He and his team filled the centerpieces with grapes, while the tables were set. Gold-trimmed glass plates were placed on top of cardboard chargers. Stemware was set in place. Jasmine-scented candles were ready to be lit, and the huge mirrors were installed. Within a few hours, the dining area was almost complete.
For me, the most beautiful part is when all the tables are set, I actually clear the room of all staff, and I walk through the room, make certain that every single table is absolutely perfect. One of the things I designed for this evening is a sort of multi-purpose piece of recycled paper, the place card, the Cirque's dinner menu, And the most important part is the auction. It's the auction paddle for the evening. It's 7:15 now. Guests are arriving in cocktails as we speak. 45 minutes to dinner. Staff are taking their stations, doing the final last-minute checks.
Jennifer Stockman, the president of the board of the Guggenheim Foundation, and her husband David were the first to arrive.
After a year of planning, we're thrilled to be here, and it's more beautiful than I ever imagined. It's so elegant, and the artwork is just spectacular.
Frank Gehry was so pleased to see David's work.
I'm very flattered that they did the cardboard thing. You know, it's a nice homage, and I understand what they were trying to do, and I appreciate it, and I love them for it.
The event was not only a huge success for the Guggenheim, but for David as well.
Not only has David Monn created a green event for us tonight.
When I stand back and I really see the first group of people come into the space and their eyes become a little bit bigger, that's it. That's success.
Well, joining me is David Monn himself. Welcome to the show. It's so nice to have you here. So we have some of this amazing liquid cardboard. This can be used as a vase, of course. And then look at this. This can be the charger, right? I love this stuff. So where did you find it all?
You know, it was sort of an accident. I think some of the greatest things we find are not what we're actually looking for, but behind, you know, when we discover. This is the actual inner part of heavy gauge cardboard that's used for packing crates.
Right, like corrugated cardboard.
Yeah, the honeycomb portion of what they actually glue paper on top and bottom of is in fact what this is. And it's typically cut, it's made in a wider width, and they slice it down into thin things.
Yeah, so a different slice. Now, this is another piece that we use as a centerpiece. You like our little
I
centerpiece
love it.
idea?
It's incredible.
Yeah, I think.
Can I hire you?
See, now the great thing about David Monn is he will never do this again. He will find another material for another
hope
party.
so.
Now, you raised
Exactly.
$4.6 million
They did. Isn't that amazing?
for the Guggenheim that
Absolutely
night.
amazing.
That is
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now, how many events like this can you possibly do in a month, say?
In a month's time, well, the month of November, we had 17 events this past November, which was a record for us.
Including the plaza.
Including the
Yes,
plaza.
I loved
Yeah,
that. That was
yeah.
so spectacular.
Oh, that was a moment in New York
I
time.
think that was the most beautiful fireworks on display I've
Thank
ever
you.
seen.
Thank you.
Ever.
Well, when you put Garucci together with, you know,
With David.
Well,
David with Grucci equals
I like to say I'm kind of the conduit,
success.
but there was just an amazing, amazing team, you know, with all the elements of making something beautiful for New York. So it was great. It was
Well,
really
you
great.
are a maestro of the first order, and if you ever are planning a gigantic party or a small party, and really look forward to having something very unique, it is David Monn that you should call. Well, thank you for being here, David, and
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing one of your fabulous
Great holiday.
spectacles again.
I hope soon.
And thank you so much.